You know, even I had started to get pretty tired and pretty bored with Marvel movies. And I say even I because I'm one of the very few people I know who really enjoyed the Marvels. But Marvel movies had begun to repeat themselves way too often and had an extreme case of the kind of thing that multiple sequels or big franchises tend to have. And that is, everything has to get bigger, everything has to get more extreme. And Marvel took that so far as to create the whole multiverse thing, which really did nothing except make things too complicated, too confusing, and drain the stakes out of any given story if there's always more multiverses to be explored. But I'm glad I didn't let that dissatisfaction with Marvel movies keep me from seeing Thunderbolts. This is a Drafthouse Diary for Wednesday, May 21st, 2025, when I came out here to the Alamo Drafthouse at Littleton's Aspen Grove to see that latest Marvel movie, and I'm really glad I did. This took some steps to reverse those problems that I just described. It focused on individual characters. It focused on the small human things that are important to those characters, still in a big grand superhero setting, still in a big superhero story, but it went back to giving us people we cared about. In addition to the good characters and good performances, there was some good action. Not all of it. There was one critical action scene that was just too chaotic, both physically and emotionally, for it to really carry the weight that it needed to for the story. But by and large, it worked very well. It was also a commentary about superheroes, about superhero movies, and in particular, I think a commentary on what had happened to Marvel movies in recent years, but also the idea of superheroes and how they might fit into a world and what it means to have individuals wield this much power. Because in addition to our band of misfits, the Thunderbolts, who are B or C list characters from other Marvel movies brought together in a very clever way. But in addition to them, we also had what was essentially a Marvel version of Superman. Maybe more a Marvel version of Bizarro Superman. And it was used as a commentary on the psychology of people, the psychology of superheroes, and how those might not mix. Certainly not in every individual. Some of its approach to that was old hat. It was kind of derivative. We got the idea of traumatized psychology as a maze-like series of horrible memory rooms. That's been done so often. I would have been interested in something more original in this movie, but it worked well enough, even if that sequence was a bit too long. So I was happy to take this ride. It doesn't tell me that Marvel movies are absolutely back and I can't wait for the next one. But I am interested in seeing what is next for this set of characters. And I'm still looking forward to the new Fantastic Four movie, which may be yet again another new approach to superhero movies, which is sorely needed. I want to tell you about other parts of my trip to the Alamo. But first, if you're enjoying this Drafthouse Diary, please click the like button. And if you want more of these as they come out, please click subscribe. The Alamo pre-show for this was made for this movie, and it was one of those that was sometimes subtle and clever. It did have news reports and interviews about comic books and comic book collecting. One from 1971 that included an interview with Stan Lee about what he was doing with comic books at the time and making them relevant to the modern day. I found that very interesting. But we also had a music video for a song that happened to appear in the movie. We had footage from the sign spinning contest, the sign spinning championship competition from Fremont Street in Las Vegas, and that tied into the movie as well. And we also had a bunch of Wheaties commercials and an Alamo curated montage of Why We Stand, Sebastian Stan. So it wasn't one of those previously on, remind you of everything you might have forgotten so you have some hope of understanding this movie, which some Marvel movies have needed and which the Alamo has done pretty well. Instead, we got an entertaining, enjoyable pre-show to get us in the mood. That's what I'm looking for. For dinner at this trip to the Alamo, I got the chicken tenders, the fried chicken tenders, and I got them with the orange gochujang sauce, which I had previously had on their fried chicken sandwich. And it pairs well with a side Caesar salad, which I do like to get instead of fries. There is a special bonus menu available right now, not tied to Thunderbolts, but instead tied to the new Mission Impossible movie. And I was very interested to see this because the whole menu is mac and cheese. Something I have thought the Alamo should add to their menu for a long time, because it should be easy to make and serve hot, but it also should be easy to customize with different toppings and mix-ins. And that's kind of what the Alamo did here. They had their mac and cheese, and then they had different missions with different ingredients added to the mac and cheese. And that's a great idea if it's executed correctly. And apparently tonight, at least here at Littleton, it was not executed correctly. My darling wife got one of their mac and cheese offerings, and it had very little of the fried chicken that was supposed to be on top. And mixed in, instead of spinach, it had basil. Obviously, someone had grabbed a handful of the wrong ingredient. Now, spinach, if you like spinach, it can be good in large doses. Basil is a seasoning. It is good in small doses. Getting basil in your mac and cheese in the quantity that you would expect of spinach, not very good. The kitchen, notwithstanding, the service was good, it was friendly, it was relatively efficient. Maybe the food service was a little more delayed than it sometimes is, but that often happens at these primetime shows. So it was an enjoyable movie, a mixed bag in terms of the food service, but still a good evening. Thank you very much for joining me for this Drafthouse Diary. I'll be back soon with more. In the meantime, enjoy your movies, and when you do, stay till the end of the credits.